Hey guys, Cam McClellan.
Michael Beresford back again.
I've got Al Staley wandering over here.
Al Lawson.
Welcome to today's Wealth WOD. One of the most fundamental things to growing a growth portfolio is to understand how to take advantage of negative gearing and why it's fundamental to growing a growth portfolio. Real wealth is only achieved through doubling your asset base every 7 to 10 years. I don't know anyone who's saved their way to wealth or has enough rental income coming in where they've suddenly gone, you know what, I've just looked at my bank account, it's $1 million sitting in there, rent's just gone in there, I didn't notice it. That's ridiculous. So cash flow properties are ridiculous. Growth is only achieved by doubling a portfolio.
I actually read an article, sorry Cam, I read an article about 2 months ago in a magazine. This guy was 42, he'd retired on a cash flow positive property portfolio on $48,000 a year.
Beth spends more than that on lunches.
Didn't excite me too much.
Budget.
I can't fathom how someone can retire as an investor and be excited by $48,000 a year.
Cool.
So, negative gearing.
Boz, show us your magic.
All right. The boys have let me loose on the whiteboard. This is my favourite kind of stuff. I'm sure negative gearing is a term that you've heard. Understanding it, what it is and how it works is really important. So, with no property, let's say that your income is 100 grand. If you earn 100 grand, then the amount of tax that you need to pay on that property is going to be about 26,000. Rough numbers here. That's basically what you pay to the government every year. With property though, as you know, negative gearing is the process where we can get some of this tax, a large chunk of it, back in our pocket to help pay for these assets that grow over time. So with a property, your total income is the 100K that you earn. On a drinks break, boys. Thanks for that. And let's say that you get 20,000 a year or about $400 a week in rent. So the total income is 120,000. But with property, as you know, you have a range of tax deductions. And they reduce the amount of income that you pay tax on. I'm just going to include the key ones here in the interest of time. Loan interest. On 7%, say it's a $400,000 property, that's going to be around 28 grand per annum. Then you're going to have loan and other costs, property management, rates, insurance. Let's call that 5 grand, which means that you're paying out of your pocket, or you've got to come up with 33,000 a year to hold the property. Now, the juice in this tax benefit is the depreciation. It's money for jam, guys. If you spend $450,000 on an old property, or you spend $450,000 on a new property, the new one gives you so much more back in tax because of the depreciation. Remember, you want these properties to be costing you as little as possible to hold. So we maximise the rent and we maximise the tax. Check out the previous WOD on depreciation and how it works, but it's going to be very conservatively $8,500 a year in year 1, year 2 in depreciation. So let's call it a round number of $42,000 worth of total tax deductions on the property. Now, what we have to understand is what the new taxable income is so that we can work out how much tax we get back. The new taxable income is the 120 that we have in total income from the salary and the rent, minus the 42 in deductions. Al, you got A+ in maths, what's that?
78.
Perfect. Now, if you earn an income of $78,000, or you work out what you have to pay tax on 78, then it's going to be around about $18,000 in tax. So, without the property, you have to pay 26. With the property, you only have to pay the government 18. Where does that other $8,000 go to, Al?
I think it helps pay for your property, Michael.
It helps pay for Beth's lunches. But it does go back into the property. So that $8,000 is coming back to you from the government to help pay for these properties. So very simply, guys, the way that the cash flow works with a property, we talk about $100 a week on conservative interest rates. You have to come up with $33,000 a year to hold the property. About 20 comes from the rent, 8 comes from the tax benefits. What's left? 5K worst case. Divide that by 52 and you've got $100 a week. So that's what negative gearing is. The most important part, don't pay for it out of your pocket. Maximise the amount that comes from tax and the amount that comes from the tenant.
Thanks, Mike.